Hi, thank you for joining me for today's process video, and today I'm taking a step away from 30 days of sketches to join in with the Hey Little Magpie Chat and Inspiration challenge for the month of October. This month's challenge has been set by Sam and she's asked us to use orange, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to dip into my autumn kit that I've been using from 49er Market, but scrap one of our summer photos from our recent cruise. So you can see there I've just gone in with some Tim Holtz Distress Oxide, which I watered down and braided across my layout. I just find that easier than the packaging technique at the moment. It's more placed, I suppose. You can choose exactly where the ink is going. So I've done that, and now I'm coming in with these grid stamps from Hey Little Magpie. These are exclusive to Hey Little Magpie, designed by me, and I'm just adding some of these sort of radar grids across the page using that same Distress Oxide. It is, just grab it, Scattered Straw. So I'm using orange as the main parts of the page, but I just wanted a yellow background just to sit it all on. So now I'm coming in with the directions stamp, again one of the Hey Little Magpie exclusive stamps, and I'm just using some of the chevron pieces to add a strip down the centre of the page. I'm doing a vertical layout again. If you've watched me before, you'll know this is one of my favourite ways of creating. So first of all, I'm coming in with Scattered Straw again and using one of those chevron stamps, and then I'm going to come in with Fossilised Amber, which is sort of the next tone down. It's a bit of a richer yellow, to add another strip. And then I shall come in with Weathered Wood, which is a beautiful blue-grey, and add a further strip. So there are 3 different designs on that stamp set, and I'm using all 3. So there's the second one, just putting them off to the side to go and wash when I've finished. And then this is the Weathered Wood, and just adding that to the right. And you can see I've staggered them all as well, just to create some interest there. You can also see my lovely JD3D print tray that I've got on the left-hand side, and I've pulled out some of the orange pieces that I intend on using on this page. As I say, this is from my kit. So this is the 3rd Hey Little Magpie stamp, and it's the script stamp. And once again, I'm using that Weathered Wood and just rolling up the stamp and adding small pieces of text to the background. It looks quite dark now, but it does dry a little bit paler as it dries. So there's the photo. It's of us in Taranto again in southern Italy, and it was just a photo that somebody snapped for us, and we don't get many family photos, so it was really nice to have that. So these pieces are from either Art Options Spice or Vintage Orchard from 49er Market. I've got one of the acetate film strips from Vintage Art Options Spice. I'm getting my words all confused. And then those 2 little notebook pieces are cut from Vintage Orchard, but they're using one of the notebook die from Hey Little Magpie, again one of our exclusive dies, and those are just great for layering pieces. So you can see I'm slowly building up the shape of this design, using predominantly orange, a little bit of the reds and browns as well. That piece that I've added underneath the family title is from the acetate pack again. It's actually one of the pieces that holds the bits together, but I think it looks really nice as a frame, so I use that too. I noticed that the word together is orange, so I'm going to use that from the rub-on sheet. I love these sentiment. We've still got plenty in store. These are the Art Options Spice. They're not just for autumn. You can use them on any layouts. They're absolutely fantastic. So I'm just using that together to position everything so I can see where it's going to go. And I'm going to start gluing things down now. So I've got a really nice mix of the ephemera pieces, the laser cut pieces, and the acetate bits. That wheel at the bottom, I just enjoy the circular movement of that, so that's why I've added it. You can see in the background of the photo we're by one of the fortresses in Taranto, and it had circular turrets, so that sort of mimics that really nicely, along with that other piece with the grid on it. So just slowly gluing it all as a block, not to the background, because I want to be able to make sure that it's central. So I'll glue everything together, and then I can check for balance before gluing it down to the background piece. And you can see already I've covered most of that mixed media, but it is still peeking out, and it definitely adds something to the background of the page. So you can also see that I've chosen elements that aren't anything to do with autumn. So this just shows that you can go through your stash, even you think it's themed, more often than not, it can be used for any photo really. So almost there now, gluing everything down. Just going to get this piece and that frame down. And of course the title. Well, there are quite, I say title, there are quite a few titles on this. I've used quite a few different word pieces without anything being the main title really. Almost there, and then I realised that it's not actually stuck down to that film strip, so I'm just going to hold everything together, get that glued down, and then make sure that this is centralised before sticking it down, so I can use that rub-on as my guide when I glue it back into place. So just making sure that I've got plenty of adhesive on the back. I'm using a 6mm tape at the moment in my ATG gun, so I tend to do a little bit more than if I were using the 12mm tape. And then using my T-square ruler just to check that this is straight. So I'll leave the link down below for Hey Little Magpie Chat and Inspiration on Facebook. The girls set a challenge each month. And as I say, today's challenge, October's challenge, is to use orange on your layout. And you're in with the chance of winning 2,000 Magpie points. No, gosh, I don't know what I'm talking about. 10,000 Magpie points, which is worth £10 to spend at Hey Little Magpie. So it's well worth joining in. And we have plenty of digital products online and cut files and things. So even if you're international and don't want to pay the postage, you can still treat yourself to something nice. So just going around and gluing other bits and pieces down. You can see there's still quite a few pieces in my tray. So I'm just pulling bits out and adding them. So I've got that lovely piece there that says right here and now. That's from the ephemera pack, I think. And then those lovely leaves at the bottom. I've also got one of my flare badges that just says grateful, and I am grateful for my family, so I want to add that. And this little moth, I just thought that just brought something into the layout, so just popping that on that circular element. And then this frame, I just love the chevron on this, and although it's brown, it's sort of bringing that brown up from the bottom where I've got that mesh grid. And then of course my tab, that's punched from my EK Success tab punch and in craft, and I always use that just to add my date to the layout. So I'm turning things upside down just so I can get that frame stuck down rather than having to pull it out again, and then I'll add that tab. And you see I added that photographs and memories at the top as well. Again, that's from the Vintage Orchard collection. So just adding dots of glue and going around and making sure that everything's stuck down now. And I haven't stuck the flare badge down yet because I know I want to add some tangled thread behind that. Here's another piece sewn together. So I'm going to glue that down, and then I do add something to that tag hole so that it just changes it to a little title. I love this ticket, and I wanted to get that in somewhere, but it didn't work on the right hand side, so I moved it to the left, and it just finishes that cluster off really nicely. I was very happy with that on that side. And we did briefly go into the fortress. You had to provide your name and details, but it was free to go in, and it was very interesting. But it was just such a hot day. We didn't last terribly long in Toronto. We had a quick look around the fortress, quick look around the town, and then back to the boat and the air conditioning. So here's that piece that I said I was going to cover up the tag hole with. It's just one of the laser cut florals from Art Options Spice. And then I'm coming in with this lovely yellow linen thread that I've got in my stash and just creating a little swirl of that to add underneath my flare badge. And as soon as I do that, I know I need to add it somewhere else on the page diagonally opposite, just for that balance that I'm always looking for. So I add that there, and then I try it at the top, but it makes it too heavy, adding it to the top right hand corner. You'll see in a minute. So I do move it down to just above that title that says family, and that works really nicely. So just winding it around my fingers and then just spreading it out a little bit so it's not too neat. And you'll see here and pop it up there, but you can see it just makes that corner really heavy. So by moving it down just above the family, it balances out the weight of that cluster on the left-hand side. So just lifting things up to get it stuck down. And can you see how that sort of evens everything out? You've got the continuity of it by adding it diagonally from the flare badge, and then you're also evening out the weight on the right-hand side compared to the left-hand side of that cluster, which is very busy. So I just wanted to add this orange bow. I just thought it was really sweet and provided a really nice bit of movement to that bottom of the page, just making sure it's not covering that word that says together. And then I'm just going to write Toronto, Italy at the bottom, just so that I know where we were, and then the date onto that craft tab. I just stamp it with my roller date stamp onto white cardstock and then cut that out and stick it onto the tag. It's what I always do. If you watch my videos, you'll know this is a regular thing. Using my Nouveau glue. I do love this glue. And that's it. I hope this has provided you some inspiration. Do come and join us at Hey Little Magpie Chat and Inspiration and join in on the fun. See what everybody else has done with their orange stash this month. And I shall see you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye.